When the clock strikes midnight, most people are asleep, unaware that the hours between midnight and 3 a.m. hold a unique spiritual significance that has been mentioned throughout Scripture, yet often overlooked by modern believers. There is a mysterious stillness during these hours, a time when the veil between the spiritual and the physical is thinner, and the heavens seem more attentive to the prayers of those who earnestly seek God. Many Christians pray casually, without understanding the timing or the intensity required to unlock the supernatural impact of their prayers, and this is why countless prayers feel unanswered or ineffective. The Bible offers subtle hints of this sacred time. In Psalm 63, David cries out in the night, and God responds, showing that earnest petitions during quiet, solitary hours carry a different weight in the Spirit. Spiritual experts and biblical scholars agree that the midnight hour is a testing ground, a time when the enemy often increases his attacks in the natural to distract, discourage, and tempt the believer. Yet, paradoxically, it is also the time when the same believer, if persistent, can experience breakthroughs, deliverances, and spiritual revelations that are inaccessible during the noise of the day. Many Christians ignore this truth, not because God has hidden it, but because human fatigue, routines, and distractions mask the importance of midnight intercession. When a believer chooses to rise, to humble themselves in prayer during these hours, they enter into a spiritual battle where the enemy fears their persistence. For the enemy knows that God honors prayers offered in the quiet, the prayers that are offered with sincerity and faith, not out of habit or ritual. This is why some Christians wake in the middle of the night repeatedly, restless and uneasy, sensing an urgency they cannot explain. It is the Spirit calling them to engage in warfare through prayer at a time when their faith alone can tip the scales of victory. Yet, even when believers attempt to pray at midnight, many approach it incorrectly, thinking that any casual petition is sufficient. True midnight prayer requires a heart that is prepared, a mind that is focused, and a soul that is willing to confront spiritual realities, even if fear rises, even if the enemy sends discouragement, doubts, or distractions. The presence of God in these hours is not felt in flamboyant manifestations or loud signs, but in subtle confirmations, in moments of clarity, peace, and unexpected understanding that change the way a believer perceives their challenges, their purpose, and their destiny. Many fail to recognize these signs because they are accustomed to spiritual encounters that are loud, dramatic, or immediate, yet God often operates in stillness, in patience, and in precision. There are countless testimonies of believers who, after persistent midnight prayer, discovered solutions to family crises, guidance in business or ministry, deliverance from spiritual oppression, or the unblocking of blessings that had been stagnant for years. The enemy, aware of the potency of these prayers, intensifies attacks, sometimes physically, sometimes emotionally, and sometimes mentally, to prevent believers from continuing. This is why understanding the spiritual warfare component is essential. Midnight prayer is not a casual pastime. It is a deliberate act of faith that positions the believer in alignment with God's will while resisting the schemes of the enemy. The act of rising from sleep, dressing quietly, and approaching God with humility is symbolic, demonstrating obedience, willingness to fight, and recognition that human strength alone is insufficient. When believers pray at midnight, it is not the length of the prayer that matters most, but the intensity of the faith, the focus of the heart, and the sincerity of the request. The angels in heaven are said to carry these prayers as incense, presenting them before God, who delights in the heart that seeks earnestly and refuses to be deterred. This is why many spiritual mentors emphasize the practice of midnight prayer as a discipline that builds spiritual resilience, sharpens discernment, and cultivates intimacy with God. However, it is critical to understand that the impact of midnight prayer is not always immediate. Often, the results are delayed or manifested in ways that are different from the believer's expectations, testing patience and faith. Many Christians give up too early, thinking their prayers are ineffective, unaware that spiritual activity is always happening, even when results are not yet visible. The scriptures also caution believers about pride, self-righteousness, or mechanical repetition during prayer. A prayer offered without heart, without humility, or with impure motives can be ineffective, even during the midnight hours. Therefore, believers must approach midnight prayer with a mindset of surrender, awareness, and reverence, acknowledging God's sovereignty and resisting the temptation to treat prayer as a mere routine. Additionally, the physical environment plays a subtle but important role. Quiet, darkness, and solitude remove distractions, sharpen spiritual senses, and enhance concentration. Believers often report that during these hours, they feel closer to God, hear impressions or guidance they had not considered during the day, and experience profound peace or clarity in decision-making. Some even report visions, prophetic understanding, or insights that directly affect their lives and the lives of those around them. It is not mystical for mysticism's sake, but purposeful, strategic, and deeply aligned with divine timing. The Bible consistently points to the power of persistent, faithful prayer, and the midnight hour magnifies this principle. When Christians recognize the importance of timing, the nature of the enemy, the discipline required, and the heart necessary for impactful prayer, they open doors to supernatural intervention, blessings, and protection that can transform their lives. Most Christians ignore these opportunities, not out of ignorance alone, but due to weariness, distraction, or failure to grasp the unseen spiritual realities. Yet those who rise repeatedly, who persevere in faith, who pray with understanding, find that God responds in ways that are visible, tangible, and sometimes life-altering. From Abraham to David, and even in New Testament examples, we see a pattern. God honors those who are willing to seek Him when the world sleeps, when distractions fade, and when only faith, determination, and sincerity remain. The unseen realm is stirred during these hours, and the enemy becomes increasingly desperate, but God's power is supreme, and those aligned with His will experience victories that seem impossible to achieve during daylight or normal hours. Midnight prayer, then, is not just a spiritual exercise. It is an invitation to encounter God deeply, to battle spiritually, to receive revelation, to unlock favor, and to witness the tangible impact of obedience. For the believer who has never experienced midnight prayer, it may feel uncomfortable at first, but over time, it becomes a discipline that reshapes the soul, strengthens faith, and fosters intimacy with God. And as believers persist, they discover that what happens after praying at midnight, breakthroughs, protection, guidance, deliverance, and blessings, are not random but intentional acts of God's grace, designed to reward perseverance, faith, and devotion. Therefore, no Christian should underestimate this sacred time. The opportunity to influence the spiritual and natural realms simultaneously, to confront spiritual opposition, and to access blessings and guidance is real, available, and waiting. The challenge lies in the choice to rise, to persist, to pray earnestly, and to ignore the distractions, doubts, and temptations that seek to deter. Those who embrace this calling often find their spiritual lives transformed, their natural lives elevated, and their understanding of God deepened in ways that casual, daytime prayers rarely achieve. It is a discipline of faith, a demonstration of devotion, a declaration of obedience, and a tangible connection to the unseen power of God. Midnight prayer is, therefore, both a privilege and a responsibility, a secret of the faithful few, and a doorway to divine intervention that many Christians have never truly understood. And so, if you are willing to rise, to humble yourself in quiet desperation, to pray with sincerity, focus, and fervor, you will witness the hidden workings of God that are often ignored, overlooked, or dismissed by the casual observer. What happens after you pray at midnight is not speculation. It is a spiritual truth embedded in Scripture, manifested through countless testimonies, and confirmed by the quiet but unmistakable power of God's presence responding to hearts that seek Him earnestly when the world sleeps.